and she's approved that he can have a second wife so that he's able to have children. Hey my beautiful peeps, it's Char and welcome to Char TV. And today's video, I'm super excited to recap the first episode from season 5 of 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days. Before I do that though, I do want to give a shout out to JJ. Thank you very much for your beautiful comment, and I'm so glad that you're enjoying my recaps and my channel. Let's go ahead and get this recap started. I'm going to start with Caleb and Alina. Caleb is 28 years old and he's from Arizona. He's an adventurous person and lives a pretty active lifestyle. He just loves to travel and even lived in New Zealand for a year, and he also lived in Thailand for a bit as well. He's a very spiritual person and even loves to meditate, which also opened him up to the idea of magic, so he does dabble with the tarot. Caleb just loves the ladies and thinks that he can get sexy anywhere.
I love women and I love to have a little fun, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't say I've been in a long-term relationship before. I'm totally open to it, but I feel like I just hadn't found the right person to settle down with until Alina. Alina is from Russia. She's 27 and extremely beautiful.
Caleb and Alina have been together for about a year and a half, but they've actually known each other for half of their lives. They met on social media about 13 years ago when Caleb was 15 years old, and at that time they just talked about random things that people at that age do. But sadly, after a few years of, online friendship, they eventually lost touch. So let's fast forward a few years. Caleb was planning a trip to Russia and he thought, let me go on a Russian dating platform, to see who he could meet. What do you know? Alina pops up on the platform. Now, Caleb didn't end up going to Russia because of some visa complications, but they still kept in touch. And Caleb realized that they actually have something special with each other. Now, Caleb wants to see if these feelings are real in person. So they've decided to meet up in Turkey. The reason that they're meeting in Turkey and not Russia is because the borders are still closed in Russia. So they're going to Turkey for 2 weeks to spend time with each other. Caleb and Alina have a deep connection, and this deep connection has made him look past what others would find a massive difference.
I'm Alina, I'm 27 years old and I'm from St. Petersburg, Russia. I'm a pretty active, energetic and fun person. Recently I got very interested in burlesque because it shows that in different body you can still feel beautiful. Боже. Oh, сколько у нее лиц. Stop it.
Now, Alina has a rare condition, and I'm sorry if I butcher this. It is called dystrophic dysplasia, which is just a form of dwarfism. For Alina, disability is not a problem for her. In many aspects of her life, Alina tries to do everything. She even has a band, it's called the BFF band, with 2 of her besties, and she just loves to sing. What I love about Alina, and I picked up on quite quickly, is that she is very confident and independent. And she's even said, she accepts the fact of how she looks. She doesn't look like everybody else, and she's just learning to work with what she has. You go, girl. I just love her attitude. However, there are some things that are hard for her to do because she can't really bend her fingers. So some things do pose a challenge, as well as she can't walk far distance, so she does use a wheelchair. When it comes to dating, there are some challenges for a little person, but she has never dated a little person. In fact, Alina loves to date tall men.
In Russia, a lot of people, they don't take me seriously, they don't treat me as an equal person. But Caleb did, and I'm glad he did. Caleb and I met on social media when we were teenagers, and I was so excited to just add random people to practice my English, and Caleb was one of them.
Alina can't wait to meet Caleb in person. She just wants to touch him and get to know each other in person. She feels that Caleb could actually be the one. They have a strong connection online, but Alina's just a little bit worried as Caleb has never been with a little person before, so she's not sure how he's going to react, especially when he sees her walk. Alina is going to fly out in a few days to meet Caleb, so she's decided to have dinner with her family. Her relationship with her parents, it's great, but they still see her as their little girl that they have to take care of. She also has a sister that is of average height, and they kind of treat her in the same way. But of course, they do worry about Alina a bit more. Now, she hasn't told her parents about Caleb. Because she's leaving, she figures, I might want to tell them about him.
Ну, на самом деле, я не просто так беру отпуск. Вот,
Что такое?
Ты же помнишь, я тебе рассказывала про Калеба? Помнишь?
Да.
В общем, мы хотим с ним встретиться в Турции.
Знает, что у тебя коляска там?
Ну, конечно, знает, да.
Там особенно на коляске не поездишь по Стамбулу.
Now, of course, her mother is worried, and she's concerned that, when Alina's at the airport, people are so busy trying to get where they're going, they might not pay attention, they might bump her, knock her over, and she was afraid that they might even kill her. Plus, she's going to Turkey to meet someone during a pandemic. It's kind of bad timing. Now, they also don't want a repeat of the experience that Alina had in South Africa. The person that she was planning to meet didn't want to meet her, so they never saw each other, and that hurt her for a long period of time. Now, a little bit of backstory on that incident. She had met a man that was from South Africa, and they met in person like immediately because that person was traveling in Russia. She fell for him pretty hard and fast, and then poof, he just left. Eventually, she had an opportunity to go to South Africa, and she went, but never met up with this person. He was full of excuses and bullcrap as to why he could not meet her. And because she was deeply hurt, it took her a while, as I mentioned, for her to get over it. So she's hoping that this trip with Caleb will be great because she's invested a lot of time and emotions into the relationship. She doesn't want to end up heartbroken. Now, Alina has sent Caleb a message saying that there's something that she needs to tell him. Caleb is not sure at all what this something could be. He gets on a call with her, and Alina proceeds to tell Caleb that her friend Elijah will be joining in on the trip to Turkey.
What do you mean?
Well, the thing is that my mom, she's really worried about me. She's worried that I'm going to a foreign country, meeting you, like you're a guy from internet. And the only way to make her feel better about this was to bring Elijah along because she really likes him and trusts him.
Now, Alina thinks that this is a good idea that Elijah is going with her because then he can show Caleb, how to help out with the wheelchair and other things that she might need help with. Now, Caleb does feel that, it's kind of weird that Elijah is gonna be a third wheel, especially this is their first meeting. And he also feels that, it's his job to take care of Alina, not Elijah's. Caleb said to her, well, can you give me some examples on what you might need help with? And she said, well, I might need help with you pushing the wheelchair or carrying her if it's not wheelchair accessible. And she's also concerned with the layout of the hotel room. Can she flick the light switch? Can she reach the hair dryer? Caleb might end up getting annoyed by all of this. But Caleb thinks that, he knows what to expect to a certain extent and that she has nothing to worry about. He's hoping for the best and that their connection will grow stronger once they've met in person. That's pretty much all with Caleb and Alina. I really, really like Alina. Like I said, I just love her confidence. I love her independence. And I just love her attitude on everything. How do you feel about this couple? On to Kim and Usman, aka Sojaboy. Kim is 50 years old and is from California. She is a huge Michael Jackson fan and has been a fan since the age of 13. She even has a small Michael Jackson collection on her wall, and the collection actually includes an original fedora, and on the inside it has his autograph. Kim was like, I was hoping that it would have a piece of his Jerry curl or some makeup on the inside, because that bad boy is worth around $8,000 or $9,000. Kim lives with her mother as she's her primary caregiver. Her mother does suffer from rheumatoid arthritis. I believe it's in her hip, so she takes care of her mother. Kim also has a 25-year-old son named Jamal from her previous marriage, which after I think 20-something years, it fell apart due to her ex-husband cheating with many women. And pretty much since then, it's been nothing but bad luck. But her love life is making her happy now because
I've fallen in love with this wonderful, amazing man. He's a singer / rapper from Nigeria, and I swear I have never been so happy. He has completely changed my life. Tell me, who are you listening to? I am listening to Usman Umar, aka Sojaboy.
she met Sojaboy on social media. She slid into his DM saying she was a huge fan, and he wrote her back. She was like, oh my gosh, and freaking out. They ended up talking for about 3 hours, and since then, they developed a friendship. And now, they've been talking daily for a year. We all know why. They started out as friends, but Kim's feelings developed into something much more than that. She's very attracted to him and just loves his smile. His smile just makes her glow. He makes her happy and feel loved. Sojaboy is from Nigeria, but they've decided to meet in Tanzania because that's where he's going to be filming a music video. They'll spend 2 weeks with each other, and Kim is beyond excited.
Right now, Usman calls me his potential girlfriend only because of the experiences with his ex-wife. She was also an American that he met online, and she hurt him terribly. So Usman is hesitant about getting into another relationship with an older American woman unless we meet in person first. That's why this trip to Tanzania is so important, because I need to prove that I am the woman for him.
Now, Kim said she is nothing like his ex. What was her name? Baby girl Lisa or something like that? She's 1,000 times better than her. She's doing this because she's following her heart, and she's 100% loyal. And she's not crazy. Well, I don't know, because some of the previews that I've seen, but she is fearful though that her heart is going to get broken. I'm afraid that that might happen to you too, dear. Now, Kim's mother said that she hasn't been successful in her relationships with men, and she thinks it's because Kim tries so hard to be the perfect woman. She wants to be everything that a man needs. And Kim's mother, you know, just wants her to be herself and to go there just being who she is. But the age difference does bother her, as he's 32 and Kim is 50. Kim feels at this age, this is her final chance. And when is it going to be her turn? She feels that Usman is different and makes her feel happy. And she does trust him. She wants to be able to live her best life. Kim is off to the beach to meet her besties, Alyssa and Vanessa. Her friends think it's a bit crazy because it started out as Usman just, you know, saying hi to a fan. And now it's turned out to be Kim being head over heels over him. Now her friends decide to ask her, well, do you plan on being intimate with him? And she's like, yeah, 100%. But he is waiting to see how things are gonna go, so they're just gonna go with the flow. Now they have talked about things and decided that they're going to get 2 separate rooms, which was his idea. He would feel more comfortable that way. Kim doesn't really like it because she doesn't want to feel alone. But she is betting with her friends that by the end of the trip, he's gonna be in her room. Now her one friend says, well, what about the future? Does he want kids? And Kim says, yeah, he does want kids. And she's approved that he can have a second wife so that he's able to have children, because it's shut for her. There's no more kids for her. And in his culture, having children is important.
If Usman has multiple wives, I feel like that it's okay because I love him. It's his culture and I respect his culture and his religion so much. I truly mean that. I truly mean that. I know it sounds crazy. It's a cultural thing. It's not like a threesome.
So they would have their own relationship and you would have your own
until you're actually in it.
But I guess I wouldn't know until I'm in it.
Now Usman thinks that she's absolutely amazing for agreeing to that. And her friend's like, well, yeah, of course he is, because he's gonna have 2 women at the same time. And then Kim kind of got upset and said, well, why do you have to be so defensive? You know, you should just want to be happy for me. And she ended off, you know, walking away to have a little bit of a timeout. A few moments later, her friend said, we're just concerned. And that doesn't mean that we're not on your team. Kim does understand why her friends are concerned because of her past relationships. That's pretty much all for that couple. I am so excited to see how things are going to progress with them. I just know it's going to be some drama. What do you think? On to Gino and Jasmine. Gino is 51 years old and lives in Michigan. He doesn't live a flashy lifestyle and is pretty conservative. He enjoys the simple pleasures of life. He's used to living on his own, but it wasn't always that way. He had an ex-wife that was from Brazil. He was working in Brazil for about 6 months being an engineer, and that's around the time that he had met his ex-wife. And they knew that they were in love, so he brought her over on a K-1 visa. Sadly, after 7 years, things started to crumble. The spark was just not there. And so they decided to end things mutually and got a divorce. Going through a divorce was very difficult. And Gino kind of lost hope in finding that special someone. So he decided to look internationally and go on a dating site to look for love. As, you know, he wasn't having much luck locally. That's how he met his girlfriend Jasmine, the love of his life.
Jasmine is 34 and she lives in Panama City. She's an American lit teacher and she's one of the smartest girls I've ever been with. I got feelings for her right away, you know, like on the first day that we spoke.
I wish you were here, baby. Good morning.
She's got the best personality, funny, caring.
Gino says Jasmine has beautiful eyes, a beautiful face, a beautiful kadonk and hips. If he's being honest, Jasmine is out of his league. Aww. They've been talking for 9 months and he feels like she may be his soulmate, even though they've never met. He can't wait any longer, so he decided to buy a ticket and he'll be there over Christmas and New Year's. And he hopes by the time that he's ready to return, he's gonna be engaged. My man Gino says he's got a stash of those blue pills. He said the pills are gonna give him that extra poppin'. Oh, Gino. Jasmine is very sexual, and they've seen each other naked on camera. They've even discussed how their first night is going to be.
Wow, man. I mean, this stuff works. It's good.
It's been a few years since I've been with a woman sexually, and she is 17 years younger than me. So when I'm in Panama, I just want to make sure I can keep up, you know?
Now, since Gino is going to miss celebrating with his family, his brother and sister-in-law come over to exchange gifts, and they do have concerns with him going there. I think everybody's friends of these couples have concerns. I would too. Now, Gino has lost his hair and he just loves to wear a hat. Jasmine does know about his hair loss, but whenever they're on video chat, he's got his hat on, just like me. But my reason is because I can't bother to fix my hair. He feels that the bond and connection that they have will make how he looks less important. He then tells his brother and sister-in-law that he plans on proposing because she wants children and he's agreed to that. They looked quite surprised by what he said, and the sister-in-law said, well, don't go getting her pregnant right away. But Gino is actually hoping that she does get pregnant on this trip. He's ready for it. Gino does understand their concerns, but at his age, he doesn't want to pass up on his last shot at having a family and true love. Now, Gino and Jasmine have different lifestyles. She does not like the way that he eats. Jasmine is a vegetarian, and Gino just eats whatever. I saw a whole bunch of frozen dinners. Now, Jasmine does like to know his whereabouts when he's leaving the home. So he'll tell her where he's going, what time he's going, all of the details. He'll even send her screenshots. It's quite ridiculous. She wants to know where he is at all times.
Hey, I just made it to the restaurant.
Yes, I want to go inside with you.
Alright, perfect. Sometimes I wonder if she's concerned about me meeting other women, or is it, you know, that she's worried about me being out and getting home safe? Maybe it's both.
My goodness, the guy had to show her the person that gave him his order. That is too much. Now, Jasmine was copping an attitude because Gino was talking to the girl too much that gave the order. Jasmine thought that he was being too friendly, especially that he was asking the girl what her name was. Jasmine can be very jealous at times, and this is a concern of Gino's. But he wants to keep her happy and decides to call her back when he gets home. She started grilling him about why did he ask her name? He's just there to pick up food. And he said, well, that was my first time going there. And she's like, well, what? The second time you go there, you're gonna ask for her number? Oh my gosh, drama queen. Gino is hoping that the jealousy is less of an issue when they're in person. For your sake, I hope so too. Today, Gino has gone to shoot some pool with his Uncle Marco and Marco's girlfriend. I think her name is Sandy. Uncle Marco is like a father figure to Gino because Gino's father passed away last Christmas. And since then, they've grown even more close. And Gino just wants to make Uncle Marco proud, but knows that he is worried about his trip to Panama. Uncle Marco and his girlfriend are just concerned for Gino because they feel like this, you know, Jasmine just wants a ticket to the US. And what if he gets kidnapped or they take away all his money and cards? Gino's not worried about that though because Jasmine is emotionally invested. Now, because of the pandemic, Gino was laid off from his job, but he has been smart with his savings so that he's still able to help Jasmine out with money. Apparently, she's not a materialistic person.
I've helped for things such as, you know, doing her lips, or maybe her eyebrows, or maybe facial treatment, possibly her hair or her teeth. Yeah, I've helped her out with those things.
And he told his uncle if all goes well, he's going to propose to her on this trip. Sandra made me laugh. She said, you're going there for 3 weeks and you want to put a ring on it? The way she said it just took me out. But Gino feels like, you know, and he knows her. I don't know, Gino. Sandra mentioned to him, well, what about a prenup? And Uncle Marco figures that it's something that he probably should consider. And when he brings up the subject with Jasmine, if she freaks out, that should tell him something. Gino doesn't feel that Jasmine's after him for his money, and she's a very emotional person, so he's kind of afraid to even bring the subject up. He doesn't want it to affect their future together. Today is the day that Gino's going to fly out to Panama to meet his girlfriend Jasmine. And Uncle Marco, he is so sweet. He woke up early in the morning to take him to the airport. Gino thinks that things will go well on this trip, and Marco hopes for the best for him. He's worried and is thinking about a lot of things that can happen to him. Because remember, he's like a father to Gino.
Okay, just one more question before you go.
Uh-huh.
Who is my little gordito? Who is it?
Me.
Yes, you. I will always be you, the only one, the owner of my heart, my soul, and pretty soon my body wanna make love to you like two wild animals. I'm gonna suck your soul.
Shut. Quiet.
That's pretty much all with that couple. On to the last couple, Memphis and Hamza. Memphis is 34 years old and lives in Michigan. She describes herself as spontaneous and fun. She's been single for about 4 years, and during this time she's dated around quite a bit. She does have a wild side to her, but she's decided to throw in the towel with that because she has now met someone special. Memphis is a single mother raising 2 lovely children.
I have a 13-year-old daughter from a relationship I was in 14 years ago, and I share custody with my ex-husband of my 6-year-old son. After my divorce, I learned how to be a more self-sufficient woman so that I could support my children. I put myself through school for over 8 years. I graduated with my master's, and I just got a new job as a nurse practitioner.
Now, she's tried online dating with American men, but it didn't work out. So 8 months ago, she decided to try an international dating app. And that's when she met the love of her life, Hamza. Hamza is 28 years old and is from Tunisia. She just loves how he talks to her and that he gives her butterflies, which is something that she's never felt before. Memphis is ready to take a shower and decides to give Hamza a video call. She says to him, "Are you ready for shower? Are you ready for sexy time?"
The physical chemistry that Hamza and I have when we're video chatting is just like unbelievable. The only problem is we have a language barrier, and sometimes it's difficult to know what each other are saying. He speaks just a little bit of English, and I don't speak any Arabic.
When she flies to Tunisia, they're going to take sexy time to a whole other level. Memphis is totally in love with Hamza, so when she gets there, they're going to skip the engagement part and just get married. Her friend said, "Well, what are you gonna do if your personalities don't mesh when you're in person?" And Memphis says, "Well, that's why for the first week we're not gonna get married. Second week, they're gonna get married. And then the third week is kind of gonna be like a little honeymoon." Her friend thinks that it's still too fast, but Memphis doesn't care. Hamza has always put her first, so why wait any longer? And plus she figures if they skip the K1 visa and go right to the spousal visa, that it will make the process of him moving to the US a lot smoother. Her friends want her to take a look at the picture as a whole, get a bigger picture of things, because how does she know that he's not just using her for a green card? But Memphis doesn't believe that's what's gonna happen. He makes her happy and she just wants to start a life with him. Now Memphis says she's tried a fair share of different flavors of men. She has dated white, black, Mexican, and she finds that American men can't even keep up with a good morning text for more than a month. But with Hamza, she just loves his consistency, that he keeps up with her, and that's something that she's never experienced before. Memphis's mother has decided to come over to bake some cupcakes together. They haven't always been the closest, but things are getting better between them. She especially needs her mother's support now that she's going to meet Hamza. Her mother says to her, "How is it going with Hamza?"
I'm just excited to be able to just see him. He just gives me butterflies even after all this time that we've been messaging. But we'll see how it works out. You know, I have a couple weeks.
And see if it'll be worth your money.
You know, I've been talking to lawyers, just getting some type of prices so I can kind of have a better idea of what I'm looking towards paying for him to come here.
The mother says to Memphis, "Well, you're going to be paying a bit out of pocket." And Memphis says, "Well, because of COVID, Hamza has been out of work. He's been looking daily, but he can't find anything." Memphis's mom was like, "Well, that should be a red flag." She feels that Hamza has an ulterior motive and that he just wants to move to the US and be with this person that's just going to take care of him. Memphis told her mother that she's already told Hamza that when he comes to the US, he's gonna have to work. And the mother said, "Well, that's gonna be a lot on you if it doesn't pan out that way." Memphis said, well, she can afford to support Hamza for a little while on her nurse practitioner salary. Later that day, the mother is helping Memphis pack. And Memphis said to her, "What are your concerns?" The mother said to her, "Well, is he ready to be a stepfather to 2 children that he has never met before?" And Memphis said, "Well, that's a leap of faith that she's ready to take." Memphis is wondering if she's looking for something in a man that she didn't necessarily get when she was younger. You know, feeling neglected and not feeling secure at times.
My childhood was not stable. When I was 9, my mom was battling crack addiction. My biological father was in prison. So we did not always have a roof over our heads. At 11, I was taken away, and I was in 12 different foster homes till I was 19.
The past is very difficult for her mother to talk about. Memphis feels a sense of guilt, so she'd rather just repress the memories as a way of coping. That's pretty much all with Memphis and Hamza. I cannot wait till the next episode to see how things go. And I know you're probably feeling the same way. My final thoughts to this episode, I enjoyed it. I'm seeing some red flags for sure, especially with Jasmine. I find it funny that Gino says, you know, she's not materialistic, but yet he's sending her money for her teeth, her this, her hair, her that. I don't know. Definitely seeing some red flags with these couples, but I hope that it makes for juicy drama that you know I'm gonna bring to y'all. And I'll try my best to just stick to the juicy couples for you and leave the not so juicy couples, we'll just leave those aside. Let me know your thoughts on the episode. I love to see your comments, and especially so that I can pin one of them. That's all to this video. Thanks for watching, my beautiful peeps, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye!